where the movie started, facing at the photo they've taken. Space trade flying through the skies and battles happen everywhere.
Many people watching us right now on this program pages. I know you're Dr. Ransom Owan, but can we meet you properly?
Thank you very much. My name is Ransom Owan. I hail from a small town called Agbokem Waterfall in Etung local government in Cross River State. In my early years through secondary school at St. Gregory's, I spent time in the farm with my father, where we all grew up in the farmhouse, and we're cocoa farmers, and that's how we made our living. From 1964, I went through school in the village until 1970, when I graduated and went on to Ebonyi State to do my secondary school education.
I mean, but there was a war in Nigeria around that period. So
Yes, during the period 1970, when there was a conflict, a lot of our people went to Cameroon, but my dad did not go to any place. We were in the farmhouse. I witnessed all of the atrocities that were taking place until we were liberated by the Nigerian army. So we actually never left. But a number of people were able to cross over to the Cameroons, almost as what is happening now with the refugees. Yes, it's like it's come full circle. So we are hosting them now and trying to make ends meet. So as a young boy, I was able to see what was happening. And then, so after the liberation in 1970, when I began my secondary school education, it was sort of a full circle. I went back to Ebonyi State to start in the Abakaliki area.
Okay, right.
So I saw the both sides. So just after the war, we were able to make ends meet with very meager means. Growing up as a young boy, all you had were your parents and the directives. Naturally, your parents didn't know whether you passed in school or you didn't pass. Just make sure you at least each year you're in a new class.
So you never took any report card home to your parents? Are you trying to tell me that?
We did, but not. Are
you one of those people that I heard those days? They would just say, "Daddy, Sparrow Jara, 10 naira, biology 10 naira, Amweba," that kind of thing.
No, actually, the report cards used to come home. My father just needed to see that you've passed to the next class.
Okay.
So something happened in year 3 where I changed my name. And I did not tell him.
From where to where? From what to what?
I grew up as William. That was my baptismal name.
Okay.
So as we went to secondary school, we were taking nicknames.
Okay.
I took the name Ransom.
Okay, and it just stuck.
It just stuck. So in the 3rd year, when I was going to register, I registered with Ransom Owan. So the report card came. He never said anything. Eventually called me and said, "I have a report card here, but I'm not sure from who this person is."
But the surname is it's
still Owan, but he didn't click in his head. So when I saw it, I was petrified. My father's nickname was Okonkwo.
Oh yeah,
It was a serious enforcer. Yes, so we did not play with our dad at all. It was a serious enforcer. So I tried to play around it, but there was no way because he was asking me for my report. Eventually, I had to face up that Daddy had put my name. So for years, he refused to call me Ransom. He was calling me Willie.
Yes, not the name he knew you.
I think eventually he got over it and accepted that it was Ransom.
Yeah,
and that's how the name Ransom stuck.
But you still use William in your name as well? Or just
No. My William was just baptism.
Okay, yes.
If you go to Ecom Parish, that's the last place to see William and primary school. Yes.
Okay.
But the name became Ransom, my passport, everything became Ransom, and that's how Ransom came about.
Okay, now, from coming from a small place like Agbokem Waterfall, and then you went to the United States of America, so can we go into that part of your life?
Yes, it was not a straight route. While I was in secondary school, I took an entrance exam. I used to read a lot, and I wanted to go and do computers in the UK. So actually, they sent the examination to a bank in Abakaliki, and I sat for the logic and mathematics and everything, and I passed. And now I was so excited I was going abroad. I came home, told my parents I've had admission to go abroad. My dad actually gave me money. In those days in Calabar, you take the pontoon to Oron.
I went through that. From Port to Oron, we have to wait for the pontoon to come.
Here I am where the movie started, facing at the photo they've taken. Space trade fly through the skies and battles happen everywhere.
Play this to you.
Direct, exclusive, and fascinating.
So you were done with secondary school from a bucolic environment, and then all of a sudden you went to the United States of America. So how was it that easy in those days?
It wasn't that easy. I will tell you there's an intermediate point. While I was in secondary school, I wanted to do computer science. And I was looking around for schools. I identified a college in London, in the UK. I applied for the school and got admission. We traveled, as I said, from Calabar to Oron, in Yangite, over to Calabar, and I made an appointment for the British embassies to go for interview. In those days, you just don't go and get interview. You go, you travel, there's no email, no phones. So when I came home one Saturday, the villagers got together and asked me why I was going to study computers when there was no typewriter in the village. And so they convinced my father not to send me to school. At that time, I was already doing my lower six at Hobodle, Calabar. So for the first time, I went against my parents. I was disappointed. I took my little belongings to my tin can box, and to Ecom I went 23 kilometers.
Did you walk or did you go by road?
I think in those days it would have been path trekking or caterpillar. Anything can carry you. You can get to
just like, hitch a ride.
Hitch a ride to Ecom. And I promised myself that I will be going to America. This time, in order to prevent any disappointment, I won't tell anybody.
So wait, you were so young. Where were you going to get the money or something like that?
Barely than 17. Something happened along the road. I was applying for schools in the US. Each one was telling me to pay 1 year tuition ahead of time. There was a small loan program I heard the federal government was doing. You can get a small loan and go to school abroad. So guess what? I applied for this loan, this scholarship. They gave me the scholarship. And I was able to get admission in New York Institute of Technology. I never told anybody about it because I was teaching. About 2 weeks in Ecom when I left, I went as a young man, less than 20 years old. I think I was like 17 or 18 at that time, that I wanted to teach. The principal gave me a note. I went to Ministry of Education in Calabar, and I got a job with my mock exam. Because I did not.
You were teaching and you had this kind of wisdom of like an 80-year-old man to apply for scholarship for you.
Yes, and with my mock exam, I convinced the principal I could teach. So as of today, I've not received I don't know what I did in my WAEC. I don't have my WAEC.
But I mean, how did you get into university?
Well, with the mock exam, they gave me admission because they showed my past reports and everything else.
Okay.
So the long story short, when I went to the US, well, I didn't tell my parents. When I finally went to the US Embassy and received my visa and everything and my passport in my pocket, everything done, and I came home, I gave them maybe a few days, I said, I'm leaving.
That's your question. Where did you get money to do the passport? Is it from your teaching?
I was my teaching job. I can tell you, I have on my passport today, my life savings to America was 220 naira.
That was a lot of money then.
It was $440 because I had to wait to Tinubu Square CBN to get that exchange. Missed my flight, so I went to America with $440. This is September 1977.
Wow.
Yes, so I was a very rich man.
No, but you know what's amazing me? You were so young, from Ecom to Lagos, for you to know all this, and you didn't have your parents like guide you, or maybe an uncle who lived in Lagos to guide you, able to do scholarship. You know.
True. I used to read a lot, and in those days you use aerogram. Maybe many people don't know aerogram. You buy this aerogram, you write your letters, and you seal it and send abroad. So I was applying to all schools, Oklahoma, wherever it is. I said I was determined to go to school outside Nigeria until I was successful. So when I received my admission, it was the best thing that happened to me. I just kept it quiet until I was able to get everything intact and went abroad.
So you didn't contact your parents. You were already in America when they heard that Ransome went to America.
No, the last few minutes I gave them, a couple of days. No, I know a couple of days in Nigeria that I'm leaving.
Okay.
But I didn't give any opportunity to have a meeting and say I'm not going abroad again. So I didn't want that to happen.
Yes. In a way, like your destiny was meant to be there.
Yeah.
So in America, what did you study?
I went in to do industrial engineering management at first. And you said, because I do not have my WAEC exam, so the foreign students started asking me to produce the result, the West African school certificate. Where will I find money to come to Nigeria and then get my certificate to go back to New York City? I said no. And this time I was staying in the YMCA.
Yes,
34th Street.
YMCA.
34th Street, where you pay the small amount per week, just economizing yourself, you know?
I think village people did someone.
They did. The YMCA, certainly they did that. I now asked somebody, I said, if you don't have a high school certificate in America, can you go to university? They said yes. I said, how? They said, you have to sit for the exam, just like a high school equivalency test. I said, is that right? They said yes. Yeah, I immediately went to Barnes and Noble, bought some books, started reading an American history, everything I did not know. I was cramming for about almost 3 weeks or 1 month, and I sat for the exam. One Saturday morning, I sat the exam for the high school equivalent, and I forgot about it. I was living on 57th Street and Columbus Circle. So one afternoon, I came in, I looked at my pigeonhole in my room, I opened the box. There was this flat letter from the New York State Regents Council. I opened it up, I had passed my high school equivalent.
So you now use that to like...
I went to the school on Monday, I said, is this okay? They said, oh yeah, you don't need the YA, that was it. So as I speak to you, I don't even know what I made in YA. So I've never gone back since.
You got all F9s.
It doesn't matter.
America now, how was it?
Well, this is September 1977. So life was a bit different. I was living in Manhattan with all the 5 boroughs in New York. You had to make do. The first few weeks or month was very rough for me. I didn't understand the food, couldn't count the money, didn't understand anything. For about 2-3 days, I could not eat or more until I found something that I could see that this is rice and chicken, like a Chinese restaurant. So, okay, give me these 2 things. That's how I made it. I'll tell you one funny experience. One day I went to the supermarket. Guess what I saw? Chicken gizzard. Oh, no. I couldn't, when we grew up, you could not eat the gizzard. If you killed a chicken, I used to be the chief killer of chickens.
You know the gizzard in Africa?
If the gizzard is missing from the pot of soup or stew, you are finished. Only the dad will eat this gizzard. So we told children should not eat it. So when I saw this Digostino, I saw this gizzard, I couldn't buy it. I kept going looking at the gizzard, I could not buy it because I was, I thought I'd be arrested.
Maybe the owner of the restaurant will eat the gizzard.
One day I summoned enough courage. I bought about 2 packs, hid it under my basket. So I waited till there was nobody at the counter, and then I paid. Rushed to my room, on my hot plate in the room, I just cooked it, closed the door. It used to be a barricade. I was scared because the smell, the aroma, they may say, who's eating chicken gizzard? They will come and arrest me. That was to me coming to America, that a young man, a child, can eat a lot of chicken gizzard without being accosted.
Exactly.
That was it. I had arrived.
That's a very nice one.
But the rest, you just go to school, and in those days, you go to immigration and apply for summer job.
Yeah.
Or while you're in school, you can apply for part-time job. That's how I made it.
Just like help you out.
Yes, and because I was taking 18 to 21 credits, I was able to do the undergraduate school education in about 4 years. 2.5 years instead of 4.
Okay.
Because from New York Tech, I transferred to Bernard Baruch College. And being a city university, if you just pay the minimum amount, you can take 7 to 21 credits. 7 to 21 courses. So you
didn't have to spend 4 years?
No.
Okay.
In 2.5 years, I was able to finish my master's.
Okay.
And then I went to Hofstra University in Hempstead to do my MBA.
Okay.
I now needed to do my doctorate.
Yeah.
And here is where the rub came. I did not have money. So guess what? I applied for New York State student loan program, federal student loan by New York State, and I got it.
So that's how you did a PhD?
Yes.
Oh, wow. That's really very encouraging, You are so so determined. I hope a lot of young people who are watching us right now could learn from this. So now you came back to Nigeria. Let's talk about that. You were the first chairman of Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, which is NERC.
Yes.
So, looking at what you started, where do you think the future of power in this country?
Well, thank you for the question. I came in Nigeria in 2005, November, to start the Regulatory Commission. All I'd had was the Regulatory Act and 6 other commissioners. In fact, we were holding meetings in my hotel room because we didn't even have a house, an office. Eventually, we set the commission up. One thing is certain that I want it to be clear. The federal government and the people of Nigeria have been behind privatization. They have never changed anything. Successive governments have kept the faith in making sure that we try to reform the power sector. So that is a very good signal that nobody has reversed it up to date.
Yeah.
So they've sold the generating companies, the distribution companies, and now the National Integrated Power Plant, NIPP, are also being privatized. So privatization as it is has been very, very good. Of recent, there have been a few missteps because of regulatory uncertainties that have crept in. So over a decade now, I think it is time to do a market reset, a sector reset, because there are a lot of systemic risks. For example, if a distribution company causes market failure by not collecting enough money to the system, it's not an isolated case because they are the ones that are supposed to collect money and pay everybody in the value chain.
Okay. But now, so the average Nigerian who's watching it right now, and you're saying there's been a systematic change, if I hear you very well, no. They are watching and line goes up. We're just recording this program and line went up. So how does that affect the life of the average Nigerian who wants constant power, the baba who wants constant electricity to do his work, the hairdresser, the vulcanizer on the road? So how does it affect them?
Well, thank you for that observation. The point should be made clear. The business model for electricity is the same the world over. So if you want power 24/7, you have to do it exactly as is done in England, in France, in Australia. You cannot change the model. Up till now, you can't do it. You must generate, transmit, distribute, and then collect money and pay everybody. Whether you're using solar, hydro, whatever you're using, everyone must get paid. So why has the model not worked exactly in Nigeria? It is because I believe humbly that we have not followed the program as strictly as possible. Anytime you make changes, you cause certain conniptions and somersault in the system. It's difficult to attract money to come in because there's no line of sight. So to me, everything in the power sector currently is suspect. The person outside with the money or core investors cannot come in because there is no line of sight for the investment.
Okay.
We are faced with a situation where the market is very constrained. It's a very illiquid market. And how do you bring liquidity? You have to bring comfort to investors who will bring money. Even the banks are tired. They have exceeded their limit to lend in the power sector.
But people say that this will work in other countries. I hear people say, oh, ordinary Ghana, ordinary Rwanda, and all that. But I tell them that these countries are quite small compared to the size of Nigeria. So could it be that Nigeria is so large that they have not been able to get it right in terms of power, despite the amount of money the government claims to have put into the sector?
I don't have a crystal ball to get a correct answer for this. However, yes, Nigeria is bigger than many African countries combined, but the market potential is there. No need to be saying we have this potential if we cannot leverage on our potential at this point. I think that the bifurcation of the systems, all the stakeholders are no longer united.
Okay.
I think that the generating companies, the distribution companies, the regulators, the Ministry of Power, CBN, Bureau of Public Enterprise, the bulk trader, all need to come together and now look at the market more holistically. That how do we reset the system? Because we can't, this is a project we can't afford to fail. Because power as it is a basic model and a trajectory for economic growth.
Well, you know, like some state government have actually embarked on doing, big projects of power. But how come those states are still having a lot of issues with power? Is it that they are not connected to the national grid, or can they just generate their own electricity for their own states alone?
No, Nigeria as a country, we are the highest per capita self-generating people in the world. Everybody has generators at home, in villages, in offices, so we generate solar, we do everything. But what we need to do, so you mentioned state governments that have intervened, it's very good. But I'm saying that we cannot act in isolation. Right now, it's sort of pigeonhole approach. If you do it like this way, we will not succeed very well. We need to look at it as an enterprise solution. What is it that we need to do to balance the networks? What is it that to do to be able to evacuate correctly? I think we have the answers, but so far implementation has been a problem, needless to say. I think one of the things we have to do is, if you watch a football game, everybody understands the game. Who can touch the ball with their hand, when the ball is out, you can do that. So once you understand that game, the same thing applies to us. In the power sector, we need to understand the game and everybody must follow it accurately. Otherwise, you can't keep changing things midstream without looking at the forward and backward impact. And that's what's been happening to my own self.
So how do you see the future of electricity or power in Nigeria in the next 10 years? Is should I go and buy more solar panels for my house or more generators?
No, I think the future looks very bright. To my humble opinion, we need to get the power sector correct in the next 5 to 10 years so that the power sector can become part of the GDP calculation. Okay. Just like the cell phone companies, when they became part of the GDP calculation, we surpassed South Africa and Egypt even. So now, if you can imagine the power sector becoming correct and powering the productivity of the nation, our GDP will be very, very high. So I think that as a nation, we can ill afford the issue of correcting the power sector. But I believe strongly that all stakeholders need to come together and reset our thinking on how to go forward. That's the only solution we have. It's a made in Nigeria problem that requires a made in Nigeria solution.
I like that. Talking about made in Nigeria problem, made in Nigeria solution. Before we came on set, we're talking about this beautiful project you have. I know where you come from has a wonderful waterfall, and even when I watch NTA, the montage in NTA, the captured that wonderful waterfall, and you happen to be from that area. So how do we, or as Nigerians, okay, let me put it like, as a Nigerian citizen, how do we contribute to tourism? Coming from such a picturesque place, what would you have done to attract more people to come for ecotourism, maybe in your village or in your state at large?
Thank you very much. Bukem Waterfalls is the name. There are actually more than 8 waterfalls.
In that one place?
People only see the big waterfall and call it 7. It's actually a delta that's divided, but let me not debunk the myth, the legend. There's a rock formation on that rock formation, there are about 6 waterfalls on it. Then another one which you cannot see that then goes to Cross River State, all within one village.
So are they all together or different locations?
It's one rock formation within one village, all trekking distance. It's not, you don't need to take a scooter or go far away to go to the waterfall. They're all within it and all flow to the Cross River at the same time. Yes.
River, yeah.
So to answer your question, and then we have a cave. In those days when the second
not the one like the Thai cave that people got busy in there.
No.
Get busy when we come there with my crew.
I haven't gone that far inside, but it's fallen to disuse. But you can actually, it's a nice walk. You can do water sports, water rafting, zip lining in the waterfalls and everything. What has to be done, and even Cross River State has been known as a destination for tourism. We have the cattle ranch, the monoliths, the gorilla forest, and so on and so forth. But we haven't found a way to actually monetize the experience. For the Abokem waterfall, what I will attempt to do in the coming years is to first make it tourist ready. What do tourists want when they come? First, the conveniences must be there. Where they eat has to be clean. They need to take things back. Tourists like to put themselves in pictures. And these days with social media and Snapchat and SnapMap, can you imagine what will happen when people come in there, they can spend the whole day and they may not even finish. So we will create projects for them to see, viewing places, being able to walk around, handcrafts, things. So you need to take things back when you go on vacation.
Yeah, maybe
right now, people just come in, they take pictures and go. Entertainment. The object of the object of a tourism is to make sure you keep the visitors there as long as possible.
So
maybe they spend more money and sleep there, if not in income. So when the critical mass is formed, we will have to do it. But I think being a natural setting, as you mentioned, including ecotourism, is rainforest.
Yes,
there are many people who will come in for rainforest. Doctors come in looking for all kinds of roots and leaves for medicinal purposes. So I think that as a state, we have it. And as a hometown, it's my natural interest to make sure that tourism picks up next 3 to 5 years.
What really baffles me, you are from that particular place and you're well experienced because you travel all across the globe. Couldn't you take the experience you had in all these international countries you've been to, bring it to bear in your own locality or your state by going into politics?
That causes...
No, if the right people are not in government, we don't get the right decisions.
No. The right people are in government, and my family has actually been particularly blessed with a lot of rising stars who are well honed in the business. My brother, Senator John Owaneno, has been in the national politics for a very long time, and we come from the same household and the same local government. There is Professor Antonio Owan, who is the Vice Chancellor of CRUTEC. Then I was a national chairman. So you can imagine from one household, all these names.
Let me tell you, maybe the best will come there, Michael.
So for me to now step up, so I want to run for another public office, it has to start from local government. My brother is already there. And as of now, I don't advise him on politics. He doesn't advise me on power. So we are even.
That's very. So now, what keeps Dr. Owan going? When you're not in board meetings, you're not talking about bar, you're not talking about petroleum, whatever. So what do you do to unwind? Recently, you celebrated 60 years, and you're not very young. Oh, sorry. It's just 6 years old.
It's okay. Actually, I'm very proud to be 60. You were there. What keeps me going was a question. I think the first thing is my family. As I'm now the eldest person in my family, so I have to hold a lot of people together and provide a life stand. And my immediate family, I have 2 children. Now I'm a grandfather.
Wow.
My granddaughter is just a few months old. Not to suffer from empty nest syndrome, we went to the village, brought 2 nieces who are 10 years old. They're staying with us, and that keeps us quite busy. That is my passion. My second passion is education. And then the third is helping. I just have a soft spot in helping. I just can't see a situation where I can help and I cannot help. And I refuse to help. And I think even the Bible says when you find a situation where you can help, it's best for you to help than to look the other way. So my passion is about that and being useful to society in a little best way I can.
Okay, now what legacy do you want to leave? You're not a grandfather, you have to love the children, you have this whole community looking up to you, as the father of the place. What legacy do you want to leave behind you? When you're like 250 years old.
Thank you very much, because I don't...
250 years old, what legacy?
Yes, I always pray to God that the only 2 things I need in life, and that's how I've been. Long life and good health. I have never prayed for anything else up to now. And I'm over fortunate and over blessed. So I tend to impact the idea of very hard work, that hard work pays. There are a couple of things in life you cannot overrule: error, forgetfulness, and making mistakes. Nobody's above these three. The important thing is to minimize these errors and mistakes. If you do that and reduce your risk in life, you'll be able to live long and be prosperous. I think for me, I don't want anyone associated with me, my children, to be ever jealous or envious of anybody else. Just focus on what is on your plate. Whatever happens in life, just chalk it off. There are many hazards. Just leaving your house when there are hazards. So I think that as we can manage to reduce personal risk, it's good for us. And also find a mentor. We see in the global context, very highly paid athletes have coaches. Be it in football, basketball, Olympic swimmers, all have coaches. So why are these people who are already talented already have coaches? If they need coaches, how come ordinary people like us don't have coaches? We also need coaches and mentors, because wisdom comes with time. So I think young people should also look for people to mentor them. And most importantly, find something you have passion. And don't accept no for an answer.
Yeah.
Pursue it.
Yeah, on the last note, what one word for leadership?
I think for me is oversight.
Oversight.
Yes, you have to have good oversight function.
And the environment doesn't matter?
Well, environments
Because
do
of
matter.
opportunities.
Yes, opportunities are there, environment do matter. But if you don't have oversight function as a leader, that means your vision cannot be implemented well. So you must have your vision and then be able to implement. That's what makes a leader a leader.
Okay, so you have a vision and you have a mission. I've been speaking with Dr. Ransom Owan. I hope you enjoyed the interview. We'll see you again, same time, same station. Take care of this.
Thank you.